A hush swept through the cabin as the slap echoed in first class. Passengers froze, unsure if they'd witnessed what just happened. The black man didn't argue, didn't yell. Instead, he calmly reached for his phone. One call later, the entire plane was grounded, and careers were about to crash harder than any aircraft could. Wait a second, and tell us where you're watching from in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe for more powerful stories like this. Darius Cole, a 52-year-old black man dressed in a sharp navy blazer and low-profile slacks, boarded Flight 271 to San Francisco without any grand gestures. He looked like any successful professional traveling for business, but that was the problem. People saw the suit, not the CEO. Darius was the founder and executive chairman of Cole Aerodynamics, a multi-billion-dollar aviation firm whose technologies powered fleets across major airlines, including the very one he was flying on. But Darius preferred humility. He booked his ticket, carried his bag, and never told people who he was. As he settled into first class, he greeted the flight attendant, a middle-aged white woman named Trish. She barely looked at him. When she returned with pre-flight drinks, she skipped over his row. Minor? Maybe? Intentional? Hard to say. Darius had experienced this before. Quiet, coded dismissals too subtle to protest without sounding like the angry black man. But things would escalate. Mid-flight, Darius noticed an older woman in economy struggling with her oxygen machine. She pressed the call button, clearly in distress. After waiting several minutes and watching no one come to her aid, Darius unbuckled and walked back to assist. "Sir, you cannot be in this area," Trish snapped, suddenly behind him. "She needs help," Darius said calmly, pointing to the woman. "I said return to your seat." "You people always think rules don't apply," she hissed, loud enough for nearby passengers to hear. That was strike two. Back in the first class, Trish came by again, offering the upgraded meal service to everyone, except Darius. When he politely asked for the same entree the white man next to him was served, she sneered, "Maybe you should book coach next time." He raised his brow. "Excuse me?" Then came the slap. Sharp, sudden, and silence fell. Gasps rippled across first class. A young woman covered her mouth. A businessman stood halfway, stunned. "Did she just—" Darius didn't flinch. Instead, he pulled out his phone and calmly said, "Get me the airline's chairman. Tell him Flight 271 needs to be grounded immediately." Minutes later, the pilot's voice came over the intercom. "Ladies and gentlemen, we've been instructed to make an unscheduled landing in Denver due to an onboard incident. Please remain calm and stay seated." Trish went pale. Passengers whispered. Phones lit up. One man tapped a colleague across the aisle. "Wait, did he say get me the chairman?" As the plane touched down, a swarm of airport officials, security, personnel, and suited airline executives waited on the tarmac. Before anyone else could disembark, they boarded the plane. "Mr. Cole," the lead executive said, stepping up to Darius with visible worry. "We're here as requested." Darius nodded without emotion. "This crew has violated ethical, safety, and civil rights standards. I expect immediate suspensions and a public inquiry. I also suggest reviewing your training protocols." Trish was escorted off the plane in disbelief, her protests drowned out by the buzz of passengers recording on their phones. She didn't understand what happened, but the world would soon know. Within hours, the story trended worldwide. "Black CEO gets slapped by flight attendant. Grounds entire jet," one headline read. Another, "Humility meets power. Airline shaken. Biracial incident at 30,000 feet." Darius issued a short statement to the press. "This is not about vengeance. It's about visibility. I could have stayed quiet. But what happens to those who don't have my power, my reach, or my voice? This was never just about me. It's about the culture we tolerate." The airline suspended Trish and the involved crew indefinitely. It launched a review of in-flight staff protocols. Mandatory anti-bias training became an immediate initiative. The airline's CEO personally apologized to Darius, both publicly and privately. What began as an ugly moment of racial disrespect became a viral reckoning. Passengers on that flight interviewed about the dignity with which Darius handled it all. He could have yelled, one said. He could have sued, but he taught a masterclass in calm power. A college student who witnessed the event posted, "I've never seen someone shut down racism so gracefully yet so effectively. That flight changed my life." Darius, known for reshaping aerospace technology, had unknowingly reshaped something else. How we confront quiet prejudice with grace, action, and accountability. From a single slap to a worldwide shift, he proved one thing loud and clear. Absolute power doesn't raise its voice, it just picks up the phone. If you enjoyed this story and thought it was provoking, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more powerful narratives. Let us know your thoughts. In the comments, take care.